This is Brett Fales, Director of Digital Marketing at Threshold Real Estate Agency. I'm here today to talk a little bit about YouTube campaign setups. So today we're going to go through actually in the platform how to go about creating a YouTube campaign, choosing a goal for that campaign, setting the appropriate budget, selecting the audience targeting of your campaign, how to go about organizing those ad groups that are part of this YouTube campaign, and then finally uploading the video ad that will be part of the campaign as a whole. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the platform and create that campaign. We're going to log into your Google Ads account and go to the area where it says campaigns. This is going to give you an overview of all your active campaigns. So this is where we're going to start to create that video YouTube campaign. So starting out here, we're going to want to go ahead and click this plus and click a new campaign here. What it starts you out here is to create a goal. So what is the overall goal of your campaign? Is that to drive sales, maybe an e-commerce or an app? Is it to drive leads to your website? Is it just to get more website traffic? Is it to get more consideration around your product? Is there a brand awareness and reach component? Are you promoting potentially a mobile app? Trying to get people into your local store, or maybe you have a custom idea in mind. What this is going to do is this going to limit the amount of types of new campaigns available, or what's called subtypes available. So if you're wanting to run video, just avoid app promotion and sales, as those aren't going to have video components, and then also those local store promotions. So in this example, we're going to really try to promote website traffic. So we're going to try to get more people to the actual product website. As you can see, these are the subtypes that it offers as part of that website traffic goal. So we're going to go ahead and select video, as that's what we're going to be setting up today. And as you can see, it's going to be set up to drive conversions. So it's really going to try to find those users that are more likely to convert from video ads and go ahead and serve them your campaign. So we're going to go ahead and click continue here. Now this is where you're going to get into the technical side of the campaign. Don't be overwhelmed. These are fairly straightforward questions they are presenting you. So first off, we've already selected the type, the goal, and the subtype. Within here, we can control the name of the campaign. So we're going to call this Video Test Tube Campaign today. And what you're going to also be able to do here is select what's called a bid strategy. So a bid strategy is really how the campaign goes about spending its budget and how it selects the users based on the platform intelligence of what you want to occur. So for example, right now we're set on maximize conversions. What that's really going to do is going to aggressively go after those users that the platform has seen strong conversions from in the past through advertising, or maybe there are certain interests such as about to move, looking to move, that align with our product category that may be more indicative of action. So that's what maximize conversions, and oftentimes we do focus on this and allowing that platform to use its experience. The other option you have, since this is set to drive conversions, is going to have what's called a target CPA, or think of this as roughly how much are you willing to pay per conversion. If you have that ideal target in mind, this is a great avenue to go in there and basically allow the platform to use its intelligence to say, okay, this user group is roughly going to come in at this, say, $30 CPA or maybe $70 CPA. Well, this allows you to say, hey, I'm really only looking for those individuals that are less than a $50 CPA or conversion value for me. So keep that in mind. Would recommend starting out with maximize conversions if you are looking to drive conversions. Keep in mind, if we didn't select driving conversions here, we'd have some other options. Some of those are what's called maximum CPV. CPV stands for cost per view. And so this is similar to the target CPA, as cost per view is how much we're willing to pay every time our ad is shown to a user for more than 25% of the actual video. Target CPM is roughly, that's going to be focused more on impressions or people being able to just have the ad served to them, whether they're opting out of the video ad or not. And that's called cost per million or cost per 1,000 views. So if you're looking to do more of an awareness campaign and getting the brand name out there, you may look at more of a CPM or CPV bid. That's going to allow you to get more eyes on your ad rather than really going aggressively after conversions. So going in here, budgets and dates. So this is going to be where you're going to set your daily budget here, or your campaign total. So keep in mind that Google doesn't allow for monthly budget setting. So really you're looking at a daily spend. Also keep in mind that Google is very open about saying, these daily spends can overspend or underspend depending on what exactly the platform sees as opportunity. So if it sees more opportunity in the current day, it can spend up to 80% or 80% more or 80% less than your daily budget. So just keep that in mind, as it can be tricky at times getting those monthly budgets unless you're watching them closely. If you do have a campaign in mind that you're looking to run for 2 months and you have a specific media spend you'd like to spend for those 2 months, I'll have the option of adding a start date and an end date. What I would caution individuals on here is once this is set and ran and the campaign is completed, you can't turn it back on. You would have to duplicate that campaign and set up different start and end dates. If it is a campaign you're planning to run without an end date in mind, say this is an ongoing monthly campaign you want to continue running, don't add an end date. Keep that end date open. Put a start date in there, as it will kick off your campaign, but don't include an end date, and that'll allow you to keep using that campaign on a monthly basis and get you that historical metric and story in the metrics and the data that you want to see over time. So just keep that in mind whenever you're setting this campaign up. Networks. So keep in mind with networks, if you are looking to only serve on YouTube, make sure that you're not using video partners on Display Network. That's going to be a larger network that Google set up in the background that reaches outside of YouTube. So that may be video units within websites. So keep that in mind. If you just want to only be on YouTube, you may want to only select this YouTube videos, unselect the video partners. And if you want your video, say it is a highly searched video or maybe some exploratory video or educational, you may want to also use YouTube search results placements, as that will be basically pushing your video results up higher in the results page. If it's more of a product, focusing on YouTube videos and getting those interstitial ads are going to be a great play there. Locations, naturally you're going to want to select where your demographic is going to be. You can use country targeting. They bundle United States and Canada. If you're looking to do all over US, you're offered there. And if you want to do a different location, what you can do here is do a radius. Keep in mind, if you are in the housing industry, we are no longer able to do zip code targeting. So if you are doing a radius around, say, Austin, Texas here, you can go ahead and select that and select your mile radius you'd like to see, and then you're going to go ahead and have that ready to go. So that's going to be your location portion of this. Languages, just keep this in mind if you are focused in potentially a secondary, tertiary language in the area, and you want to specifically target those individuals that are secondary, tertiary language, then this is a great way to go ahead and get after those people and make sure that your ad is landing in front of the right people. Lastly here, what we have here is what's called inventory type. This is going to be Google Ads' way of really offering you some pre-built content filters. So what you're doing here is saying, Do you want to kind of ignore some of those filters that they may be recommending? For example, profanity, graphics, sexual content, nudity, violence. If you're doing a standard inventory, this is kind of course, naturally the standard way of going about this in Google. They're saying this is kind of their best recommendations. So they're going to have some of the exclusions, such as the expanded, but what it's really going to do is kind of toe a middle line there on your content limitations. And keep in mind that you can go ahead and compare these inventory types, see some examples of what they're talking about, and find out what works for your brand. We work with standard inventory, as this is kind of the straightforward, violence, nudity, sexual content, all of that is going to go ahead and be avoided when it comes to our ad placements. So keep this in mind. This is going to be what types of sites and what types of videos your ads are shown in between or on. Here is a little bit deeper options here. So what you can do is you can exclude things such as certain content labels that are based on rating. So think movie ratings here. What kind of areas you're willing to get in there, and then also are you open to having your videos embedded in YouTube videos on a website? So maybe any potential person with a website that's running YouTube videos or hosting them on your site, are you okay with having those video ads being served on that placement? So just keep that in mind. These are kind of some options that you really want to know what fits your brand and how you want that brand to be presented and where to be presented. Here's another piece to it, which is ad extensions. So what you're going to do here is when your video ad is being shown, it can have quick links or quick jump links to different areas in your site. This can be extremely helpful, as individuals often want to jump to exactly what they're looking for. So for us, that may be a message of chat with us real quick, or get in contact with us, or maybe if we're running a YouTube video that's focused on our agency's creative abilities, I may be offering hey, check out our creative examples that we've been doing this year. So just keep in mind, go ahead and set those site links up. It will help your campaign overall. The platform here is already predicting a 24% more conversions by adding extensions, so be sure to go ahead and do that. They already have some preset ones here. You can preview it and how it looks. As you can see in the mobile here, it's offering these right below your CTA and eating up more of that real estate. But it's going to give them easy ability to jump to these as quickly as possible. So be sure to set those up with your campaign. And then what we're going to be getting into here is the ad groups. And the way I explain ad groups is it's best to go about your ad groups as a thematic group. And what I mean by that is each ad group is going to have its associated targeting as well as its own ads. So, for example, working with, Threshold Agency as an example. So one example would be that I have maybe 5 different video ads that I want to run in a campaign. Well, I first ask myself, how different are those 5 ads? Well, I may look at those 5 ads and go, okay, well, 3 of them are really focused on our success around creative, and 2 of them are really focused around success in our digital marketing. So right there, I'm already creating a thematic grouping of those 2, of those 3 videos for creative and 2 videos for the digital services performance. So that's the way maybe I'd start out with 2 ad groups in the campaign. Some other options that you have is you can dig deeper and say, is that creative asset focused on maybe new starts versus a rebrand? And find it, and if that needs, then I may break that into a 3rd ad group that needs to serve specifically to those. So this is all dependent on a few things as far as how complicated you get with your ad groups. Think about how many ads you have running, how many targeting permutations. So am I targeting people based on, are they searching creative or digital marketing results? So those are all kind of aspects into how advanced you want to set your ad groups up. But what you're doing here, as you can see, is you're going to name that ad group. I'm going to just say test ad group 1 today. And like I mentioned, in each of these ad groups, you will have the option to select what kind of age parameters you can work with here. Audiences, so think on interests here. If you're in the housing industry, then these things are likely to move, these are looking to buy, looking to rent. Really any of those interests that may align. If you're in the student housing space, this may be running more around education. So what level of education are they associated with certain universities that may indicate their students? Keep this in mind as you do dig into here. There are very, very large set of interests you can look through. Here's a couple of other kind of wrenches I would throw in here that you have options with. So you can use, like I was talking about, the interest around what these individuals are, who they are, that the platform can tell us. But what you can also do is set up what's called a retargeting audience. So if you're not familiar, that's when someone visits your site and you serve ads back to them as they go around the internet in general, or in this case, if they were ever to come back to YouTube or be visiting YouTube and viewing their videos, your ad could be served in there because they're a relevant customer as they've already been to your website. So that's one option here, is you could go ahead and set up a remarketing list here. If you were just saying your website visitors, you could do all website visitors. Keep in mind, to be able to set up this, you will have to have this linked to your Google Analytics account and your Google Analytics account deployed on your website in order to see those visitors and capture those cookies. So this is really going to be who your audience is. One other option is if you do find yourself in a situation where you have contact info for an audience, say maybe I'm in an apartment complex and I want to run a renewal campaign. People aren't opening emails, they're not getting the flyers on my door, so I'm saying, okay, let's get creative and I want to run a video campaign for my renewal. Well, maybe what I could do is take my audience information, so all my tenant information, get their first name, last name, phone number, and email address, and upload it to an audience. Well, what Google is going to do is go out and try to match those individuals, and when it sees them on YouTube, it's going to serve this specific renewal campaign video ad. So this is where we can really start getting creative as how we're going to go about targeting these people. Like you saw before, age, gender, parental status. A lot of these, what I'd be warning is a lot of these have been pulled from the housing category as far as targeting parameters due to the recent updates to Google campaigns. So we are getting much more limited in what we can work in demographics. So we're really having to find ways to either hook them into a retargeting audience, find their information outside and target them through that, or find a net or a combination of interests that really indicate that individual is in our market and ideal for it. Here's another option that you have when it comes to targeting, which is going to be keyword targeting, topics, and then determining any placements. So the great piece here is you can select a number of keywords. So maybe if you are in the housing in business, maybe it's people looking for apartments near me in a specific location. There may be a permutation with student housing, housing for this specific university, apartments near this campus. Really finding and learning from your search approach. So I'd highly recommend informing this keyword targeting by what you're seeing works in your search engine marketing campaigns. So what are your search campaigns? What are those keywords that are really converting well and are indicative of that market? Use those to learn and inform this campaign as you go. One warning I would say is you can really limit your inventory, your audience, if you add too few keywords, because this is going to be a filter over your campaigns to say they have to have had to search these keywords in the recent last 30 days in order for us to serve out with these additional things like interests. So keep that in mind as you're building out your pieces. If you're having problems getting keyword ideas, drop your website into this little place right here, and it'll go ahead and give you some information, some ideas on that. If you want to see what other people are doing in the industry, go ahead and add your maybe apartment rental for that product and look around and see what you got. But keep in mind, if your audience is just too small, come back to this and try to open it up a little bit, maybe add more keywords, open up the different location targeting, etc. Some additional things you can look at is topics. So these are, you can think of these as similar to interest, but what these are going to be is much more kind of product category based here. I would be cautious here, as a lot of these are in the housing business. We can get down to residential rentals, which is great. But just keep in mind, how does this play with your audience and how large it's estimating your audience to be. Lastly would be to actually set up that video. So if you did have a video, say on your YouTube channel. So first off, once you get your video creative ready to go, it'll have to be uploaded to a YouTube channel first in order for you to leverage that piece back. So for this example here, it's asking for a URL from the videos. I'm just going to use a little example here, which this is our promotional video for our agency that's already part of our YouTube channel. So that's how I could search it here. If I hadn't uploaded this to our channel yet, I wouldn't be able to. One other option is just copy and pasting the URL from the video. And what we see here are a few options that we need to set up. So first off, we've got the destination URL of where this user is going to be sent. Call to action. Let's chat today. Looks like I'm a little over. Let's go with let's chat. Alright, you can see these, it's live and changing here. And we're going to say real estate marketing. Oh, I'm pretty limited here. We're just going to say real estate marketing. We're gonna go simple today. I would recommend maybe doing a few permutations of these ads as well to get different results on how your messaging is working with your ad. So this is going to be the very basics of what your ad is going to be served out like. You can see the different mobile versus desktop looking here. And then you're going to go ahead and add your name. So with all these pieces in place, I got my targeting very open. Let's be completely honest here. I'm going to add a little bit here. I'm going to add some residential. I'm going to go back up here where we're talking and add, okay, 20 miles around Austin. My daily budget I'm going to put in here at $5. Named it. We should be good at this point to go ahead and create a campaign. So what you're doing here is going to be able to see a little bit of overview of your campaign as a whole. I have it starting on today with no end date. The website or the goal is going to be website traffic, bid strategy, maximize conversion, standard inventory, all languages, focused on Austin, Texas. Here are going to be my demographics, audiences, any keyword. Right now I just have it open up. This is just an example. Residential rentals and any placements. This is going to be the ad, and it's going to be a responsive video ad. So at this point, I would continue to campaign, and it would be ready to go here. So this should be a strong overview of how to walk through the technical side of setting up a YouTube campaign, connecting it to an audience, choosing that goal, setting the budget, organizing your ads with ad groups, and then hooking up that ad at the end. So if you have any questions, I'm sure we'd be happy to cover and discuss at your leisure. Thank you.